I found myself in a challenging situation, blessed with a wonderful husband, John, but cursed with the presence of my mother-in-law, Madison. John had always harbored a deep dislike for Madison, and I eventually gathered the courage to ask him about the source of his animosity. Reluctantly, he opened up, revealing a painful history of Madison's selfishness, overspending, and financial manipulation. John explained that Madison's reckless spending had led to his parents' divorce, and she had even taken out credit cards in his and his sister Mia's names during their youth. The debts accumulated, and John's father had to bear the financial burden to clear their credit. Despite the hardships, Madison continued her lavish lifestyle, obtaining the house that was meant to be John's father's in an unfair deal. The revelation was heartbreaking, and it shifted my perception of Madison entirely. Meeting David, John's father, only confirmed that Madison was the root cause of the family's troubles. She had not only financially exploited John and Mia, but also taken advantage of David's resources. The reality of the situation saddened me deeply. Before our marriage, I had limited interaction with Madison, as John had distanced himself from her. However, once we were married, I had to navigate the complexities of dealing with her toxic presence. I gained a first-hand understanding of Madison's true nature when she incessantly contacted John for money, manipulating and emotionally blackmailing him into sending her funds. Consequently, John struggled to save money, and matters worsened when we decided to purchase a house. Despite our frugal living and efforts to save for a down payment on our dream home, Madison's greed intensified. To my disbelief, Madison audaciously visited our house and commented on its size, insinuating that I had charmed my way into John's affections. In response, I asserted that we both contributed to the home's expenses, making it none of her business. However, Madison persisted, claiming ownership due to her relationship with John and demanding more money from him. Her entitlement knew no bounds, and this behavior persisted throughout our acquaintance. She regularly asked John for money, even though we had already sent her a substantial amount. Unfazed, she insisted that it was her son's duty to support her financially, and without hesitation, requested more funds. Madison's sense of entitlement extended beyond John, as she also extracted money from Mia and David. Despite holding a part-time job, her financial contributions were minimal, leaving her dependent on the generosity of others. Madison's attitude and actions revealed a pattern of exploitation that strained our relationship and highlighted the toxic dynamics within John's family. Madison's extravagant lifestyle, seemingly fueled by others' contributions, didn't directly impact me as John took care of all financial matters. Little did I anticipate that she would soon transform into a nightmare for me. Approximately 2 years after our marriage, John tragically succumbed to a rare medical condition. His passing was sudden, leaving us with insufficient time to prepare for the inevitable. Devastated, I found myself contemplating an end to my own life, as John was not just my husband, but the love of my life. During this challenging period, Mia and David became my pillars of support. While grieving the loss of John, their unwavering presence helped me maintain my sanity. Strangely, our shared grief brought us closer together. In stark contrast, Madison exhibited a callous demeanor. She shed a few tears at the funeral but failed to reach out or contribute to the funeral arrangements. Instead, she was preoccupied with her own agenda. Immediately after the funeral, she callously mentioned, "Now that the funeral is done and dusted, let's talk about the will." Appalled, I questioned her lack of sensitivity, urging her to show some shame. In response, she demonstrated a complete disregard for the emotional toll of John's loss and focused solely on what she could gain from his assets. When I challenged her expectation of inheriting anything, given her history of being a terrible mother, she threatened to sue. Her audacious demand for a share of John's assets was both heartless and infuriating. The contrast between our grieving hearts and her callous pursuit of material gain underscored the depth of her self-centered nature. In terms of my share, a significant portion of his funds was allocated towards his medical expenses. Additionally, despite generously providing you with a substantial amount every month, he rarely managed to accumulate any savings. It's audacious of you to seek financial assistance, especially considering his outstanding contributions to the household you currently inhabit. I am resolute in my desire for a fair share. The house cannot be solely yours. It is mine, and no action on your part can alter that reality. It would be prudent for you to maintain a distance from me. John displayed patience in dealing with you, but I won't extend the same courtesy. Rest assured, I will secure what is rightfully mine. You will receive communication from me." These were Madison's parting words as she exited. I was incredulous at her actions, further disheartened by the realization that John's mother seemed indifferent to his passing. I succumbed to despair, anticipating even more distressing news. Upon returning home after the funeral, I discovered signs of unauthorized entry. Panic set in as I meticulously inspected all my belongings. Most disconcertingly, a significant portion of John's possessions was missing, including his wedding ring, the very ring he had returned to me as a keepsake of his memory. Even our wedding album had vanished. Faced with the looming threat of another mental breakdown, I had no inkling as to who could have committed such an act. Intuitively, I suspected someone close to us. Thieves would have taken more, leading me to believe that there was only one person capable of such betrayal. It was at this juncture that I received a call from Madison, who, with a tone of authority, declared, "Now that you've had time to contemplate, I'm affording you an opportunity to relinquish your share of the house." "Madison, how can you persist with this? It's never going to happen. You're still being obstinate, I see. Let me make this clear, Madison. I have Brett's wedding ring, his childhood items, and our cherished wedding album in my possession." "What? How is that possible?" "It was simple. I made a spare key from John's house keys. I entered when you were preoccupied mourning by the casket. It's truly a shame. You need to return those items, Madison. I'll involve the police." "Yes, you can involve them, but I'd destroy everything before they arrive. They might catch me, but you'll never recover your precious items. How do you want this resolved? Sign over the house to me." "I want the entire house. Since you've been confrontational, I'll return the items once you sign the papers." She abruptly hung up, leaving me in utter disbelief. Madison had taken away all the precious mementos I had left of John. The house held no significance for me, but the more I contemplated her actions, the angrier I became. This woman not only ruined John's life, but also attempted to blackmail me into surrendering the house. I couldn't let her win so easily. In my desperation, I promptly called David and Mia to the house. I disclosed everything Madison had said and done, and they were shocked and appalled by her behavior. Mia exclaimed, "I am ashamed I married someone like this. My son isn't even in the ground, and she has started her schemes again. How can she be so cruel? This is horrible. I'll go to her house and confront her. I won't let you sign away the house. You and John have so many memories here. I won't let this happen." "No, Mia, if we confront her, Madison will try to destroy the items. I really need them back intact," I responded. "I'll call her and tell her that," David asserted. "I'll sign over the house," I announced, to the dismay of those around me. "You can't do that, that's insane." "No, Avery, please don't give in to her evil plans," pleaded my concerned friends. "Don't worry, guys, I have a plan," I reassured them. Madison had caused significant damage in our lives, disrespecting John's memory and attempting to steal my house. I couldn't let her off easily. I shared my plan with my friends, and they agreed to assist me. With determination, I contacted Madison and informed her of my decision to surrender the house. She was overjoyed at my apparent submission, eagerly mentioning that the papers were being prepared, and I would receive them soon. The audacity of this woman was truly unbelievable. A week later, Madison called me to sign the papers. As I carefully reviewed the documents, I informed her that my lawyer had prepared additional papers. Handing her the new set, I explained, "I've already processed the property papers and signed the documents he gave me. Here's the legal document that states you have accepted the gift." Madison, seemingly impatient, asked, "Do I need to sign this? I can't wait. Just tell me what to do." "All you have to do is sign these papers, that's all," I replied. "There, I have signed these papers and accepted your gift. So, I hope you can move out of the house this month. I'll start shifting slowly. I need to make a lot of redecorations, so make it quick," she said confidently. "Don't worry, Madison, you have exactly a month to move into your new house. There will be no problems at all. See? It wasn't so hard, was it? You get the things you wanted, and I get the one I wanted." Unbeknownst to Madison, she was the one being outsmarted. I had switched the papers, putting my signatures on a fake document with gibberish written on them. She never read the papers she signed, thinking she was accepting the house as a gift. Madison was about to receive a shock of her own making. Despite her reputation for being both foolish and excessively self-assured, she made the ill-advised decision to throw an extravagant party. Little did she realize that this event would deplete a significant portion of her savings. In her misguided belief that others would continue to finance her lifestyle, she even reached out to me saying, Hey Avery, I'm hosting a grand party this weekend. Your thoughtful gift has truly transformed my life, and I want to share this joy with everyone. I'd love for you to be there when I announce the news of my new house. In response, I offered my congratulations to Madison, expressing my gratitude for the safe return of sentimental items. I assured her that I would attend the party to show my appreciation. However, secretly, I reveled in the irony of the situation. Madison, in her attempt to flaunt her newfound wealth, was oblivious to the fact that she had unwittingly brought me one step closer to exacting revenge. Madison had previously used the memory of my late husband to manipulate and wrest my house away from me. I harbored an unforgiving resentment towards her for this betrayal. Silently, I prayed to my husband's soul for strength, confident that he would support me in seeking justice. As the day of the party approached, anxiety set in, but Mia, a supportive companion, reassured me. Don't be nervous, Avery. We're standing by your side. It's time for your mother to face the consequences of her wicked plans. I can't wait to witness her reaction when she realizes that I know everything. Acknowledging Mia's encouragement, I couldn't help but agree. Madison had evaded accountability for far too long, and I hoped that the truth about her monstrous actions would be laid bare for all to see. I just hope everyone sees her for the true monster she is, I confided in Mia. As the day of reckoning neared, Mia assured me, everyone will be on your side when they hear the full story. The anticipation of exposing Madison's deceitful ways fueled my determination to reveal the truth and reclaim what was rightfully mine. You're a brave girl, Mia's reassuring words echoed in my ears, providing a much-needed boost to my confidence. The strength I gained from her encouragement propelled me forward, ready to confront the aftermath of today's impending events. Upon arriving at the party, Madison's grand celebration unfolded exactly as Mia had predicted. It was evident that Madison was jubilant about acquiring the house and wanted to revel in her triumph with an extravagant affair. Witnessing the elaborate setup heightened my excitement, and I couldn't help but marvel at the grandeur of the arrangements. As we entered the venue, I found comfort in the presence of familiar faces, many of whom considered me a friend. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as everyone awaited the revelation of why Madison had orchestrated such a lavish event. The climax of the evening occurred when Madison rose to make a toast, capturing the attention of the curious crowd. She began with expressions of gratitude, framing the event as a celebration of a personal achievement. However, it was clear that the attendees were eager to uncover the specifics of her purported success. Cutting through the suspense, I couldn't resist urging Madison to be transparent about her so-called accomplishment. Why don't you just tell everyone what this is about? I'm sure they're curious to know what you've achieved to warrant such a grand party. Attempting to maintain a facade of politeness, Madison responded, Avery, it's rude to keep them in suspense any longer. Everyone, I have been given my dream home by Avery. She graciously gave me her old home as a gift. I'm so happy she made such a big sacrifice. I have to thank you, Avery. Refusing to play along with Madison's deceitful narrative, I addressed the gathering with candor. Thank me for what, Madison? For being tricked into your scheme and signing away my house? Well, you're naive if you think I'll let this go. Madison, feigning innocence, retorted. What do you mean I tricked you? Nothing like that happened. In that moment, the room hung in tense anticipation, and the eyes of everyone present shifted between Madison and me, awaiting the revelation of the truth. I'm here to disclose a disturbing incident involving Madison, who has wrongfully retained some valuable belongings of my deceased husband. Coercively, she compelled me to relinquish ownership of our house, employing blackmail as leverage by threatening to destroy those possessions and inflict suffering upon me. Shockingly, Madison meticulously orchestrated this scheme from the moment my late husband passed away. As the news of my husband's demise spread, whispers circulated among the attendees. When I turned to confront Madison, she sported a visibly nervous expression and dismissively claimed that someone nearby was merely joking about the situation. According to her, there was no truth to the allegations, and she justified her actions by asserting that the house was too burdensome for her to manage, prompting her decision to transfer ownership to me. However, this narrative contradicts the facts known by Mia and David, who are aware of the actual sequence of events. Avery supported my stance, asserting that Madison attempted to manipulate and coerce me into signing away the house. Despite our efforts to dissuade her, Madison remained unyielding and ignored our pleas. Madison accused us of betrayal, insisting that she deserved the house, as her son had contributed financially. She disparaged my intelligence for purportedly surrendering the house for a few keepsakes, labeling me as foolish. The room fell into an uneasy silence, with even Madison appearing stunned by my revelation. In the background, David and Mia couldn't contain their amusement. Madison, perplexed, asked for clarification, questioning what I meant by near me. I pointed out that she should have thoroughly read the documents she signed and considered seeking legal advice before affixing her signature. To her astonishment, I revealed that I had swapped the papers, presenting her with the document that stated she had unknowingly signed over the house to me. Stunned and confused, Madison examined the document, realizing the gravity of her error. She questioned how such a transfer could have occurred, prompting me to emphasize the importance of due diligence in legal matters, leaving her dumbfounded and exposed. I engaged the services of a lawyer to draft the legal documents, so rest assured this is not a fabrication. Madison, don't feign ignorance of your own signature. It seems your malicious plans have backfired. Technically speaking, the house now rightfully belongs to me, and fortunately my own residence remains under my ownership. Here is your official eviction notice. Your tenure in the house is over, and I expect you to vacate within a month. Do not entertain thoughts of seeking financial assistance from us. We have severed all ties with you, and you will not receive a single penny. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if you possess any semblance of remorse, you won't darken my doorstep. Again, no, this is not a mere possibility, it's a reality. Before Madison could articulate another word, she simply fainted. Although tempted to laugh at the scene, I restrained myself. Surprisingly, no one rushed to her aid. Instead, the attendees threw disgusted looks her way. Some even chose to leave the gathering after offering words of encouragement. Nobody defended Madison because they were well aware of her deceitful nature. It was David who took charge, promptly calling 911 and requesting an ambulance. Madison was swiftly taken to the hospital for evaluation. Meanwhile, I chose to remain at the party with Mia, enjoying a pleasant time. Those present couldn't help but criticize Madison, expressing their long-standing dislike for her scheming ways. This time they were elated that someone had finally stood up against her. The following day, my phone buzzed incessantly with calls from Madison, who pleaded with me to annul the agreement and return the house to her. When Madison resorted to threatening legal action, I calmly asserted that she had willingly signed the papers, rendering her options limited. I cautioned her that I had the legal right to evict her from the house after a month. Despite her initial pleas for reconsideration, I stood firm. Before the month concluded, I successfully found a suitable buyer for Madison's residence, an admirable couple who resonated with the memories of my late husband and me. Seizing the opportunity, I finalized the sale, securing a substantial sum. Madison erupted in anger upon learning of the transaction, but she hastily retreated when confronted with the prospect of police involvement due to harassment. Faced with financial constraints, she was compelled to silence herself. Subsequently, Mia shared with me that Madison had resorted to pleading with them to provide shelter, teetering on the brink of homelessness. However, fed up with her toxic behavior, David and Mia refused to offer support again. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding my life gradually. With the proceeds from the sale of Madison's house, I managed to completely pay off my own residence. Having surplus funds, I treated David and Mia to a well-deserved vacation. While I may not be inclined to pursue dating again, the knowledge that I can continue residing in the house I once shared with my late husband brings me a sense of contentment.